In the book, you mentioned that he went to so many of these communist country, which is very hard because it's very hard to preach the gospel to communist country because of the different beliefs. He also tried to build relationships with the Catholics, which is not easy back in those days. And maybe today it's easier, but back in the day, there's so many differences. So that takes boldness, risk, and a lot of courage. How can we develop courage talking to people who might disagree with us? How can we develop courage on making decisions without knowing the exact outcome, because we don't know whether we make the right decision or not?
Well, I think anybody that's in any kind of leadership is going to recognize that not everybody is going to agree with you. There will be decisions that you make that 10% of the people will be very upset. 10% of the people will, think you're brilliant, and the 80%, can be swayed one way or the other. But I don't think any leader has ever had unanimous acclaim. And particularly that's difficult for people in ministry, people who want to serve Christ. We look at politicians, and at least politicians are happy if 51% of the vote goes their way and 49% of the people, didn't want them. They think that's a victory. But in ministry, if we've 5 or 10 people that are telling us we're wrong and we're misguided and maybe even evil, we get all upset. That's part of leadership. If there were no opposition, if there were no resistance, there's no need for a leader. You can just drift. Leadership means not just going with the flow. I think I mentioned it in the book. Going with the flow is what makes rivers crooked. They just sort of meander and don't seem to be going in a particular direction. So, to lead, it means that you're going to have to go against the flow at some point, because the status quo is not good. It's God wants us to do something that's not already being done. And so yes, there is going to be resistance, and I think that's part of it's part of the courage. But being able to have the strength of personality to face resistance without becoming cold and hardened and calloused and not listening, not caring for people who oppose you. That's that was something that Jesus Christ was able to do. Was able to love those even who betrayed him and those who denied him, and he didn't lash out. And that's I think that's a good sign of leadership. That's godly leadership, and I think that's what Billy Graham was exemplifying.
If you enjoyed this part of the video, you can watch the full video on my YouTube channel, link on my bio.